everyone would please stand for the invocation and close.
Would you join me in prayer? Father, as we come into this place tonight, again, I ask that we never, ever take for granted the freedoms that are ours. They've been purchased at great price, and we give you deep thanks and gratitude. First for the gift of your Son, and then for the gift of valiant men and women who've given their all, that we might enjoy these kinds of freedoms. We thank you for this board, this body, and for our little city's leaders. We love them and appreciate them and love our community. Father, would you bless them with wisdom and help us to be close as a community and to love you with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength. And Lord, tonight we look to you for guidance, for direction, for the ability to be who you've called us to be. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 3 is public hearings. We have about 4 of them. If anyone would like to speak when we get to them, there will be time allotted to speak. The first one is ordinance 18-694 to provide for the election of 2 city commissioners on November 6, 2018. Now, open for public hearing. Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing. Second one, ordinance 18-695 to amend the 2017-18 fiscal year budget to purchase a vehicle for the fire department and to adjust the debt service related to the fire engine loan. I'll now open for public comment. Seeing none, I'll close public comment. The next one, ordinance 18-696 to rezone 7541 Darby Road, Sumner County map 118, parcel 003.05 from residential R1 to R3 and R5. I'm now open for public comments. Seeing none, I'll close public hearing. The last one, ordinance 18-697 to adopt the 2018-19 fiscal year budget and property tax rate. Now open for public comments. Yes, ma'am.
Deborah Chadwick, 2253 Gideon Road. This may not be the appropriate time to state this, but I looked over the budgets and stuff in the packet online, and I know what Robertson County has done to our taxes. So it raised our taxes $126 a year for Millersville. So at some point, I would like to see it revisited to go back to the equalized, not $1, but what was it, 79 cents?
If we choose to accept the equalization rate, it would go back, it would roll back to 79 cents. Next year, Sumner County will be re-evaluating. And that is that will be coming up for a vote on
June
28th. June 28th.
Is that a special call meeting?
It is.
That one? Okay, I didn't know if this was the appropriate time to
Yes, ma'am.
say it in the public hearing or not.
It is.
You know, a lot of people, they do question, you can't afford an extra $10 a month, but that's not for anybody to question. Anybody, whether you can afford it or whether you can't afford it. But I'd like to see it go to 79 cents.
Okay. Is there anyone else? I'll now close public hearing. Item number 4, approve the minutes from the May 15, 2018 regular commission meeting. Call for motion.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes from May 15th, 2018 regular commission meeting.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, approve the minutes from the May 24th, 2018 special commission meeting. Call for a motion.
make a motion to approve the minutes. May 24th special meeting. I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I believe on one of those meetings, I like to hear a fair amount of which one was. It was May 15th, I did what changed from that motion I made. I wasn't here.
So that vote will end up 3-0 with one abstention. And that was the meeting, he was here for the special call meeting, I believe. Weren't you?
Yeah.
Is there any further discussion on the,
The rest will end up, May 15th, end up being 4 with one abstention.
no, it was on board, was here?
Oh, I didn't see it. I had it. Not bad.
Okay, is there any further discussion on the special commission meeting? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed,
Abstain.
who will be 3-0 with one abstention. Item number 6, approval of the May 2018 financial report. Call for motion.
Make a motion that we approve the May 2018 financial report.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Carries. Item number 7, discussion related to the city manager search with impasse consultant Gary Jekyll. Mr. Jekyll? How are you doing this afternoon?
All right. I think you all have a copy of the memo that I dropped off at City Hall. I hope. Well, we did not give any resumes of a handful we would get. I do think there are several people in that group that are worth talking to. Moving forward. I highlighted to you which ones those are. I think they met those folks more so than the others. Met the kinds of things that you all are looking for in terms of experience and qualifications. So if you want to move forward, then the next part of this process is to try to see if we can come up with some dates that you can shoot for to do interviews. And at this point, I think we're probably looking at the second week of July. Probably at the earliest. I think it's hard with the July 4th being in the middle of that first week of July. It gets a little harder to schedule everybody. I think the following week might actually be a better opportunity. But I'll leave that up to you all.
We have an idea of how many we're going to be interviewing.
I don't care how many you interview. I mean, I kind of recommended 3, potentially. That was, to me, stood out a little more than the rest.
And did you just review these? Have you spoken with them on the phone?
I've spoken to some of their, some of their references. I know 1 or 2 of them. 2 in particular. I've met them before. The one gentleman who works in Tennessee, I've done some work with him in the past. So I'm familiar with him.
Did we see them all in one day? You think?
Well, that's kind of up to you all.
Okay.
think that's what works the best for us,
Yeah.
but I don't know that it works for people coming from out of state.
Yeah, and that's why I'm thinking the second week of July, because that gives us an opportunity to talk to those folks and see, try to give them an opportunity to adjust their schedule.
What day of the week do you think's best? Is one better than the other?
Not particularly, I guess, I mean, I think you're probably better off either shooting for the first of the week or the end of the week. In terms of people's schedules and trying to get off work to come here together, especially if they've got to, a couple of them have to travel.
Do any of y'all have a preference on those days?
I'm looking at the end of the week.
Like the 13th?
About the 13th. Just that it's a Friday the 13th.
Only if you're superstitious.
I was born on the 13th, so I'm okay.
I don't really have a problem with it, but I like your idea of having them all in one day.
Yeah, if we can.
Yeah, if we can, I guess, I like to fit that way.
And I think what they did before, they all came in the day before, toured the city and went around, and so they were ready for the interview the next day. That's pretty much what I remember.
One or two, maybe,
So, do you think maybe trying to shoot for the 13th?
I'm fine, I mean, personally, I'm fine with that. It works with my schedule fine, I mean, it works for you all.
That's a good.
We meet every morning or afternoon.
So they'll have to be scattered out, probably at least 2 hours
We
interviews.
gotta have a start time sometime.
Yeah.
And then, about the start time, then we can place, the respective actors in that time after start.
What is it gonna take? 2 hours separation?
I think, yeah, at least a half hour separation between,
What I was getting, would we need to have one at like 9, 11, and 1?
you could, yeah, you could do that. And that's something like that, before the hours.
Yeah, we're shooting 9 AM, start at 9
I would love to, yeah. I like the 9/11 for one, if that's possible. And I would like the idea of them coming in early if they can, and kind of go around and talk to everybody, see the city, all that, and get a real good feel, instead of just coming in straight for an interview and not really having faces of the city. Stuff like that.
Well, and I think if not prior to, then afterwards, I think that would be definitely beneficial. And what we've done in some other communities is to have 1 or 2 staff members.
Kind of carry them around and take them around.
Show them.
I think we've done that in the past. I think the last time it was fire department.
So I think it's worthwhile to do that. Either day, I mean, depending on someone's schedule. Before they come visit you all or after.
So I'm assuming you're gonna reach out to all 3, see what time slot best suits each one.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
My guess is the one gentleman, he's from Tennessee. He's more likely, I would assume, more likely to be first and line. The other 2.
Where are they from?
One of the gentlemen is from, Michigan. I kind of North Carolina.
I know one was from Michigan, one was from Shelbyville.
I believe it was.
South Carolina, Greenville, South Carolina.
I knew it was in Carolina somewhere. But I mean, it's a hike. It's not.
how long is it gonna take you to get this set up? Next week?
My hope is I can get that done this week. Okay. Last week. Because I've got some time tomorrow and Friday. I can actually call
And you will have a generic set of questions. So we're,
yeah, and I would say, you think you or the staff members want to have you on some specific questions. On that list. You're asking everybody the same questions.
well, if any of us or any of the department heads or staff has any questions, they can get them to Holly. Sure she can.
One or the other, we can get it.
So how many questions do you think need to be asked? Or
Well, that depends.
I'm asking
Any
about
questions
same question. Basically, same question.
of each one?
Yes.
Yeah, I would recommend it not because you want to know, if you're asking one person about a specific question, you want to hear what everybody else is about that same topic. But we typically, I mean, we can, relatively, you can ask the question, easily ask the question. Especially if you give yourself an hour and a half-ish, that's, you can get good questions in. It's pretty easy. As long as we're asking the right kinds of questions. You're trying to avoid yes, no answers. So you want them to talk. That's another problem.
Sounds like a plan.
We've been down this road a few times.
Yes, we have.
So, and that's what I'll let our candidates know that we just got, approximately an hour and a half interview with you all. And allow for some time, either before or after, to visit, to go around town with one or two of the staff members, departments.
Do you feel that it would be appropriate to, for any of us, is it appropriate for us to call their references before the interview, or would it be better to wait till after?
I would probably wait until after. I've already done some of that. So I don't want 5 or 6 of you all calling. You can't be paid for calling 7 people I didn't know.
Okay. That's the reason I asked.
There's an opportunity to, when you get to a point where you're comfortable with 1 or 2 people.
Right. Well, that's the reason I asked.
When you get to the point where you think you want to, you've got someone you really want, then that's the time. So, more of the background, so, getting into credit, history, and stuff like that.
It'd be me asking that question. That's the point I had.
But that would be something you want.
All right.
Let's focus on what kind of questions we have want to ask. What's important to y'all, for y'all to know about what they're able to do, how they approach what they do.
I'm assuming you can have those questions at least maybe a week before the interview, so we can kind of just look at them, review them, see if we want to add anything.
Sure.
Well, yeah. Want to make sure the department heads are here. As well.
It's on vacation.
We'll make them come back early. Or we can let
Yeah, right.
do that.
So 13,
Be 13.
Friday the 13th. It'll be easy.
I like it. We figured 9, 11, and 1, something like that. We can.
Sure. Unless they want to go ahead. 6. And then you're 4. All right.
I'll start making phone calls tomorrow. I might actually make phone calls tomorrow.
Sure. Sounds good to me. Appreciate your work.
Yeah, thank you.
That's something that I'm interested in having a good person.
Excellent.
Anything else you need? Is there anything else that you need to discuss with us?
Not at this time. I'm sure we'll have other opportunities.
Sure.
But seriously, if you all have some questions that you want to make sure we ask, let Holly or I know.
I don't particularly, I feel like the last time we done it, the questions that you come up with was appropriate, so. Pretty much covered everything.
Well, I hope so, and I'll try to give you, I'm fairly certain that there's questions in computer or something. But I'll look for it, and I'll send them over to Holly so that you can take a look at them and see if there's anything maybe we need to add, with this something beyond what we had. It's something. I think there'll be some additions based on conversations we've had. So I'll try to incorporate some of that, like I said, those questions as well. That's my plan.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. All right, item number 8, second reading of ordinance 18-694 to provide for the election of 2 city commissioners on November 6, 2018. Call for motion.
Make a motion that we approve ordinance 18-694.
Second. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, this will be a roll call vote. Commissioner Gregory? Aye. I vote aye. Commissioner Coleman?
Aye.
Commissioner Doris? Aye. Motion carried by vote 4-0. Item number 9, second reading of ordinance 18-695 to amend the 2017-18 fiscal year budget. Ordinance 17-674 to provide for the purchase of equipment in the fire department and adjust the debt service related to the fire engine home. Call for motion.
Make a motion that we approve ordinance 18-695.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, this will be a roll call vote. Commissioner Gregory? Aye. I vote aye. Commissioner Coleman?
Aye.
Commissioner Doris? Aye. Motion carried by a vote of 4-0. Item number 10, second reading of ordinance 18-696 to rezone 7541 Darby Road, Sumner County map 118, parcel 003.05, from residential R1 to R3 and R5. Call for motion.
Make a motion that we approve ordinance 18-696.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. It will be a roll call vote. Commissioner Gregory? Aye. I vote aye. Commissioner Coleman?
Aye.
Commissioner Doris?
Aye.
Motion carries by a vote of 4-0. Item number 11, first reading of ordinance 18-698 to amend section 82-206A and B of the Code of Ordinance by changing the charges and fees for users of the city's sanitary sewer system. Call for a motion.
Make a motion that we approve ordinance 18-698.
Second the motion.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5 votes 4-0. Number 12, first reading of ordinance 18-699 to rezone 1246 Louisville Highway, Sumner County map 121, parcel 062.01 from residential R2 to commercial C1. Call for a motion.
Make a motion that we approve 18-699.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item number 13, first reading of ordinance 18-700 to rezone 1389 and 1391 Louisville Highway, a single parcel, Sumner County map 118, parcel 142.00 from commercial C1 to residential R4. Call for a motion.
Make a motion that we approve ordinance 18-700.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries by a vote 4-0. Item number 14, citizens' comments. Anyone have anything they'd like to speak about? Either one.
Deborah Chadwick, 2253 Gideon Road. Two things, I just would like to know if work session, planning commission meetings, this I know, is it still being video streamed to YouTube?
The
Couple of
work-
them I haven't been able to see.
The work sessions are not.
They used to be. Some of them are on YouTube.
They may have been, but the work sessions have not been, because we haven't had the people here to start and stop the equipment.
Okay,
But the regular meetings are in the planning commission meetings, I believe that.
right. I just caught up on the planning commission from the 12th. And the second thing that I wanted to bring up again, and I bring it up again and again, are the traffic lights that are needed so bad in the city. I hate to see a traffic light at Bethel Road keep being not ignored, but kind of put on the back burner. We've been in a couple situations that it was just absolutely horrendous. And one was like 3 weeks ago, 31W was backed up in the White House. Bethel Road was backed up almost to the interstate. It was past Quailwood. It was a nightmare. Today, trying to get here, 10 cars were in front of me trying to turn. It's very hard to catch a break. And I know there's two specific areas in the city that could really stand to have a traffic light there. So I personally, as a resident, I'd like to see it readdressed time and time again until something could be done.
Can we put that on the next work session
Please do.
and have OHM
I'm with you.
here?
And it's getting more and more and more. I mean, new apartments are going up on 31W. Those people are gonna be coming south. And Bethel Road is building up by leaps and bounds. So it's just going to be so chaotic. And there's been so many accidents, and I'm sure the police department know, it's 65 has just become, treacherous. And they're gonna, we all know they take any way out to get off of the interstate.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to finally decide whether we wanna put, the state's not gonna put one in.
I realize
So we're gonna
that.
have to decide whether we wanna fund putting one in, and then we're gonna have to figure out exactly what the state requirements are.
Okay, because we all know, that's all we discuss here, all I don't discuss it, you all discuss it, is the growth and the growth and the growth, and it's not going away.
I would agree.
Okay. That's all I have.
Mr. Mayor, do you mind if I ask the chief for this? His opinion on that?
Sure.
Chief Palmer, can we hear your thoughts on red lights up the road?
Personally, I think red lights need to have been at Bethel Road and 31W several years ago. Because it really, for us, our our perspective, you know, we can't go up there every time traffic backs up and try to clear it out. When we have instances on the interstate, we have to put people up there to detour the traffic. And when you're doing that this time of the year, to stand out there in 90-something degree heat for hours, it's hard. And sometimes I've been up there in 20-degree weather doing the same thing, just as hard. If there was a traffic light up there and we could have control over that, one person in an event on the interstate could control the traffic between Bethel and 31 by manually changing a light without having to stand out there in the traffic. And, you know, it would be a lot better for us, I feel like.
Like the way Ronnie used to do down here.
Yes, sir, exactly. So I would support a traffic light up there most definitely.
Thank you.
While I'm on Darby Road, I'd like to give a praise report on our fire department and our first responders, our police department, the ambulance service. Last Monday night, we had a fire in the store across the street here. When I came down the hill, all we could see was flames and smoke. When we arrived on the scene, we took a count, there were 25 firemen there. Millersville responded, I'm gonna say there were 5 fire trucks. A brand new truck did an awesome job right away. They all worked like an well-oiled machine. It was just awesome to see these two departments, everybody working together. A few of the firemen had to have a little bit of treatment inside the ambulance because of the heat and the smoke. But they, like I say, they worked like a well-oiled machine. They saved the buildings on either side of us, which were within 50 feet of our property. They did a great job of containing it. And I can't say enough about our agency, what they did for this community. You never see them really out there, what they're doing. Well, we watched them for 3 hours, and they did an awesome job. And I just want to thank everybody involved. And anything we can do with the fire department, police, as far as equipment, I go along with it 150%.
Would it be inappropriate to give this guy that?
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
I do. My name's Larry Petty, I live at 105 Echo Lane. Situation come up today, and it started about 2:30 this morning, according to one of my neighbors. There was a pack of dogs was turned loose from somewhere. Okay? They tore all the trash cans up at the store, trash was scattered everywhere. I tried to go out this morning to get the paper, and was met with 5 of them charging at me. There wasn't, I'm not gonna lie to you, there wasn't a vicious, but there was 5 of them come up, okay? I go back in, and I know these guys, nobody here in Man Radio, because we did everything but wonderful Thunder County, which is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But that's, I'm not the smartest man in the world anyway. I call them, she wants to know the situation, I tell her, well, there's nothing I can do to, rabies control. I said, well, they're not rabies. I said, she said, animal control then. I said, I'll send somebody out there today, maybe, if they get out there. Okay? So my neighbor tells me at 10 o'clock, the animal control guy comes out. There's 5 dogs laying in a shade tree underneath my neighbor's yard. And not a dog belonged nowhere to nobody. He looks on his, how do you say it, CAD. We're in Millersville, so therefore he can't touch it. I said, we're where, buddy? Well, you're in Millersville city limits. No, I think you need to either reprogram your computer or have somebody reprogram you, because I've lived in Millersville since 1981. A mile down the road is our city signage. You've got to go past to go to Millersville. And then when you get to Maxwell Creek, you'll go back into Davidson County, which is Millersville also. Well, now I think you're mistaken. So by then I was really had a 10-penny nail bent. So he said, well, I can give you to a sergeant. I said, that's a really good thing to do. So this guy's name is Sergeant Matthews, y'all might know him, he used to be a Sumner County Sheriff, he probably still is a Sumner County Sheriff's officer. Nice guy, nice guy. He said, since we don't have a dog catcher, animal control here in the city, you guys can't do nothing, and they can't do nothing. And I asked him, I said, then why am I giving y'all Sumner County tax money? Because I can just flush it down the toilet, what y'all doing for me today, you know. He said, well, you should have called Millersville. I said, well, I called y'all and a corporal somebody, right? Neither here nor there. Said there's nothing he could do because we don't have nothing. I said, well, I understood that. I've already heard that. Well, this Sergeant Matthews said, well, he was supposed to come down here and meet me, call me, and then we would have met and we could have figured out something. I thought, well, what good would that have done for him to ride down there? You know, we got a problem. They're still down there.
I think I know which dogs you're talking about.
They're all blue heelers. And I don't know who let them out. Don't care who let them out. So I said, well, what if I just shoot them? Well, you can't shoot in the city limits. That's against the law. So then I'm gonna go to jail. He said, unless they all try to attack you. Well, I'm not gonna shoot the dogs because they're friendly dogs, you know. I'm not gonna lie, they wasn't trying to attack me. But we got a problem. They won't do nothing. We can't do nothing. And some new boy thinks I live in Millersville. So what do we do?
Do you know if animal control will pick up dogs down here?
I have spoke to animal control in Sumner County. It has been my understanding from what they told me that unless a dog is vicious, they don't have the resources and will not respond inside incorporated city limits in Sumner County to pick up dogs. Even though, as it's been pointed out, Sumner County residents pay Sumner County taxes, and about the only benefit they get from the county would be animal control and or EMS. It's the only two benefits you really get from Sumner County. But if the dog's aggressive, they will respond. Otherwise, they will not respond inside the city.
So if our police department had a way of arresting the dogs, getting their hands on them, would they take them in?
My understanding from them, if we can catch them and bring them to them, they will take them.
Well, you can catch them.
We went through this several years
If you hold a
back,
piece of bologna down, I guarantee you can catch them.
and when the city adopted all the misdemeanor laws, the leash law is one of those laws that we adopted.
And we can enforce the leash law. We can cite the owner if we know who the owner is allowing the dog to run loose.
That's exactly what he said. That's a state statute. Well, when they're strays, who do you cite? This is a catch-22.
So if we catch the dogs, they will take them.
They won't come get them.
They'll have to take
We'd
them.
have to take them.
We would have to take them to them.
Probably gonna have to be during their business hours as well. I mean, I don't think we'd be able to bring them over in the middle of the night.
They're 8 to 6.
Yeah, I know.
Is there any shelters that might come
Shelters
fetch?
full. Paul's, did you call Paul's?
No, sir. I just-
They are the best people that you have ever.
Will they come out and get them?
They might. They just might, because they have so many adopted people. They're one of the, and Blue Healers, one of the finest dogs here.
There's no doubt. But the boy next door, he walks his dog on a leash every day, 3 and 4 times a day when he comes home from work. So it's a little old Jack Russell. This morning, he tried to come out to walk his dogs. He had to grab his dog and run back in the house.
So they were going after the dog.
They were going after the dog.
Well, that's vicious.
Well, I don't know if to play. He didn't know if he was gonna play with the dog or kill the dog. And the lady was sitting on the front porch across the 106, and she said she typed in something to our city Facebook page or YouTube page or whatever y'all call that. And they, all three come up and lay down on her porch, and she just sitting there reading the paper, and then two of them got in a fight, and one of them jumped in her lap, and that's when she kicked them all off the front porch. So, we kinda got a dilemma down there, you know.
Well, let's,
Well, I did make a suggestion to Sergeant Matthews. I said, can I get your Humvee out here, throw them in it, take them up Diane Black's house at Fairview and let them out in the front yard?
There's a gated community, you can't do that.
Huh?
There's a gated
That
community.
gate is never shut.
You go from over here collect them.
I can get to her house from over here to Lake.
well, let us see what we can do. We'll see what.
You know, I was just flustered.
Sheriff's, it's the Sumner County Sheriff's Office that's responsible for that.
I got it.
Decision.
Well, we'll make some
1,
phone
2,
calls.
3, 4, 5, 6, not counting 911 4 times, numbers that I was given to call.
Well, let's make some calls. We'll see what we can come up with and see if we can,
Thank you for your time.
we'll remedy the problem. Anybody else? All right, city manager comments?
I just wanted to also commend the fire department. I always hear a lot of good things about them and a lot of the people, and also our employees who responded to that call, so, they did a great job, I know. Just wanted to pass along, the GPS system that we talked about for the vehicles. Sumner County, contacted Chief Palmer and stated they would not charge us to, implement that system. They feel that it would be a good tool for them too, so there was no charge for that.
All that shit.
Also, the July work session. I believe our work session is gonna fall on July 2nd, that Monday. And I was just wondering, if you guys would mind rescheduling that to the following Monday? I was gonna take a couple days off, and I know the 4th is Wednesday, a lot of people may be traveling. So is everybody available for,
The only one that didn't answer ain't here, so you'll
And
just
what-
have to get used to
and
it.
is that the,
April 11th.
is it the 11th or the 13th on Friday? Nine is,
Oh, I was looking at it wrong. I was looking at the wrong calendar. There it is, 13th.
so July
I
9th,
was on the June calendar.
July 9th at 5 p.m. for the work session.
Commissioner's comments? David? Yep.
No, sir, but I have one thing to say. I know what Mr. Petty's going through. I have 3 cats. All 3 cats dropped. But I feed them, I take care of them. I mean, they don't go undernourished. You can look at them and see that.
Maybe you need the dogs.
No. Luckily, we ain't really had a dog problem up there in many, many years. But, like I said, we do have a few cat problems. Like I said, the 3 I've got right now, all 3 of them are dropped. So, like I said, I'll take care of them, don't have a problem with it. But they're cats. That's all
Ms. Coleman?
Yes, I do. 2 things, Mr. Chadwick, is one, the Bethel Road, light, I have been jumping up and down on that one for years and years, and so I agree 100%. I will continue to advocate for that because it is getting worse and worse as we see. So I'm glad to have your comments about it too, Police Chief, because it's something that needs to be addressed. We need to get it fixed. The city needs to take care of it. The second issue is on the taxes. I want you to know that we went through the work session and I argued pretty much on the equalization part. I have also went and studied on if we continue with the dollar that we've been charging for both sides. And I have really analyzed both of them. So it was a huge discussion at the work session for both ways because I have 5 properties in Robertson County. Okay, so I've seen the appraisals and they're all, just being a real estate agent, it frustrates me because every one of them was appraised not as they should be, all 5 of them. So the appraisals are way off. Some are good, some are not. But they did not balance them properly, so I understand that. So one of the discussions that we were having is even my son's property is in Shenandoah, and it has gone up 60,000, the appraisal on his home. So we looked and analyzed it, that his taxes on his property would be at $42. What I'm struggling with, just so you know, is the fact of, we do have a fantastic fire department. They need equipment. They do need that new fire engine to protect us in our city. We don't have animal control. We don't have those. We have issues with expenses that are continually going up. And so that's where my pull is one, the appraisals were not done correctly. So therefore, we are having taxes that are gonna probably need to increase based on what we've got going on in the city and the city needs. So just understand that this tax, whatever we decide, has not been taken lightly, and it has been analyzed in depth quite a bit, or at least I have, trying to figure out what's best for all citizens, because in my case as well, it's gonna affect quite a few of my family members being in Robertson County with whatever we choose. So I just want to assure you that it's not being taken lightly at all.
Well, could I address that? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
It is very hard because in 2013, we had a huge appraisal jump because the county said they just found out we had a basement. Hello? The basement was there when the house was built and county inspectors came out to it. So this time, we went up over $50,000. They are very hard to persuade. You can go there with, I had all kinds of comps in my hand. They flicked them around the table and they put our house up on a screen and said, you got a nice house, what's the problem? You live on a flat road. It's not real hilly where you are. No, we can't do anything for you. And out the door, we were ushered. So it's very hard to fight them unless you do have a real estate attorney that their expertise is in appraisals. Because where we are and what they're saying our house is worth, we'll never see that ever when we go to sell it, which we don't plan on it. So I do know, and where we are, I do know the great city services that we do have. And I know they're available if we need them. We just don't feel like where we are, we get the benefit of a lot of the city services. But I'm not saying they wouldn't come if we needed them. I know they would be there, so I'm not that naive to make that kind of blank statement. But maybe there are other things in the budget, I'm not on the commission, I'm not running to be a commissioner, that could be at some point in the next budget year that can be re-looked at. Things that could be renegotiated and a few cuts come in. That's all. And I know you look at them, and I believe that you weigh things out, you all do. But it's just a tough pill to swallow because we were hit with a 20% increase.
Right, and I guess what I want you to understand is it's affecting quite a few of my family members because many of us are in Robertson County. So I still have not made a full decision yet. I'm still trying to weigh that in, and I'm kind of talking to them, seeing what their thoughts are, that kind of thing. So it is a challenge.
Are the only two choices 79 cents at the equalization or $1? Is there nothing between 79 and $1?
If we wanted to. However, yeah, but still, I guess it's part of that argument that I hear on the other side is that we're at $1 now for both Robertson and Sumner County, and so again, as some of the argument has been, regardless of Robertson County and Sumner County, it's still, all citizens are paying the same into the city of Millersville. If we go to the equalization, not much, it's $1 penny that Sumner County will pay, but then Robertson County is gonna be paying into the city 80 cents. So think about I'm just saying for the advocate for the other side, is that Both are getting the same services from the city, pretty much. But Robertson County will be paying 80 cents, Sumner County will be paying $1 a penny. So that is hard to think of that as well.
I get that.
Do you understand?
I understand that.
So, but we need to be on Sumner County and Robertson County for primary services that the county provides as well. That needs to be happening.
And that's fixing to be upgraded because Sumner County ambulance, they've made a deal that Sumner County's gonna start servicing all of the Millersville area in Robertson County. And Robertson County, I believe, is gonna service the Sumner County's portion of White House. So the ambulance service in Millersville on the Robertson County side is fixing to get a lot better.
So in other words, instead of them coming out where Springfield
White
or
House.
White House is where Robertson County EMS is coming
White
out.
House or Springfield.
Or Springfield, because I have had it to where even in our subdivision, it's taken an hour for them to get there, even though they're right across the street. So that, they're getting ready to solve that problem.
The only time we had to have it specifically at our house, it was 10 minutes and they were from White House.
And from White House at that time.
But this was 3 years ago.
So I guess I just wanted to assure everyone that's here that understanding whatever we decide is not taken lightly, that we are looking at the numbers heavily.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll say this, I looked at a lot of other numbers today. In 2004, from 2004 to 2016, on average, the revenue that is brought into the city from property tax has went up an average of $10,000 a year. Because we keep taking equalization rates. That means every year, over the past 14 years, or 12 years, we have averaged a $10,000 difference each year. We give out more than that in raises every year, and that's cost of living raises. That's not merit raises, that's just cost of living. And as a city, we can't keep spending, we can't keep buying $400,000 fire trucks, $80,000 worth of police vehicles, give out cost of living raises every year, but our revenue stay like this. If we continue to only take in the same amount every year, there's no way to upgrade the services. It's just not possible. Insurance, it goes up every single year. It is awful. And if you look back through history in 1991, the property tax and the rate in this city was $1. The equalization was taken every time it was offered, and it got down to around 57 or 60 cents. The commission had to raise it back to $1. The equalizations were taken again. It got down to 75, 80 cents, and raise it back to $1. If we start again taking equalization rates, it's just a matter of time. In the next handful of years, we're gonna be back in here raising the rates to $1. The evaluations from the county rolls around every 5 years, and there's 1 year difference between Robertson County and Sumner County. Sumner County's 1 year behind, but they come around every 5 years. If that rate stays the same, the city gets its cost of living increases, just like city workers get their cost of living increases.
I do hear what you're saying, but only, and I'm gonna relate this to public, a profitable company. But if profits weren't made, there was no cost of living. I mean, I'm speaking, my husband retired from Ford. If Ford had a bad year, there was no cost of living. So is cost of living given every year regardless?
No, there's been several years that the employees got no raise.
Well, we lived through that too, so, yeah, we know that feeling.
Way
but-
more. Take Metro, I have a niece that works at Metro, she gets a cost of living raise every year. There's been multiple years that our employees have not had a raise. We've had city managers that said, don't worry about giving me a raise, give it to the employees.
Right.
You know, we struggle every year at budget time to try to figure out how to just keep our insurance where it's at now, to not burden the employees. Because the insurance is ridiculous, what we pay. I mean, it's $200-something thousand a year.
Can I just ask a question? And it's just been rumored, and I heard this, and I'm not trying to put a dig into the employees here. But do you all have a deductible?
We do.
If you file a claim, do you have a medical deductible? I mean, like ours is $800 out of pocket.
Ours is 1,000 and ours is 2,600 out of pocket.
So you do have you do have a
Yes, we
deductible?
do.
Okay.
Our families, our employees have to pay $5,200 out of pocket.
How much?
We do.
5,200 for a family.
But how about lab work? Before any lab work is paid?
We have to pay, it all goes towards deductible, we have to pay it. But we do, individuals have $1,000.
Okay, well then I appreciate,
2,600 out of pocket.
I appreciate the answer because that is a rumor that is squashed now.
That we didn't have a deductible?
Right.
Oh,
Well, we have good
That-
insurance. There's places that have worse insurance than we have. There's a lot of places that have better insurance than we have as well. I know my wife works for the county, she has a lot better insurance. On the deductible side, my deductible is $600. Once I get to $600, my insurance picks up everything.
Well, that's
Medicine,
good.
everything.
It's good to know, and if you don't ask,
Well,
you don't
and our,
get an answer.
our insurance is fairly high for a group because of the group our size. We're less than 50 employees. It's gonna be high because of the number of employees.
But all I'm saying is exactly what Commissioner Coleman's saying. If we make a decision to not accept that equalization rate, it's not because we want more money to spend. It's because we're trying to stay where we're at. Again, my property taxes just went up this year, and I had what I would call a midterm reevaluation of mine. And mine jumped well over $100. And then I'm fixing to go through a reevaluation again next year, so mine's gonna go up again next year. So, but hands down, if my city tax was double what my city tax is now, I wouldn't complain. Because I know I'm getting, it's better insurance than I can go out and buy to protect my family. All it takes is one family member needing a fireman or policeman, and it's worth every penny. It's a small price to pay. I would say average households, if you averaged it out, I'd be surprised if the average was much over $400 or $500 a year on city tax.
And I do want to say one thing, because I lived in Davidson County for 3 years. And I remember when we moved here to Millersville, I was in awe of the services that we had here compared to being in Davidson County. I mean, you couldn't get the police to come out, you know, it was very difficult to have them come out. It was very difficult to get anything done, because there was so much bureaucracy that had to be done. Even now, as a real estate agent, just to get a septic permit pulled, you have to have all of this documentation, you have to send it in, you have to wait 4 or 5 days and to get anything done, and we just don't have that here. We have so many services that are fantastic compared to, and with the price that we pay, a whole lot less than Davidson County, I can assure you of that. I literally have people moving out of Davidson County right now because of the taxes.
Yeah, there's
The
over
property taxes.
$4.
Yeah, it's atrocious.
And not only that,
So I'm just saying, our services for a dollar is exceptional.
our dollar rate is way below most of the cities around us. I mean, White House is considerably higher. I think Portland is looking at an increase in their property tax. You know, we try to spend the least amount as we can, and in hopes of our taxes not going up, that rate not getting above $1. You know, we've got not counting the sewer, over $2.5 million budget. And I think this year we're projecting to pull in about $800,000 worth of property tax. And there's just not any other revenue streams for the money, we don't probably pay for what we have. So if the vote doesn't go your way, and I'm not saying it won't, but if it don't, just don't leave it just too.
Well, it's not like I'm not gonna come here anymore. As they say, it is what it is, you know?
And on that, I will report to you that I have went out and measured the noise at the track. Now, the night I went, they wasn't very crowded. They didn't have a lot of cars. And they never exceeded the limits at the road or at the distance from the car. I actually went just above your house and measured the sound, and the highest sound reading I got at your house came from a truck passing me, standing on the side of the road, taking.
You see, I was not gonna bring that up tonight.
I just,
Just so you know, you thought I was going to.
no, ma'am, I just wanted you to know that I did go out and measure the sounds, and I plan on doing that a couple of
Well,
times.
and I had originally planned that I was going to, officially ask
And
that
I-
sound testing be done on a regular basis. It should be official, it should be in the record, that it should be done.
And I have it in a notebook, and I'm gonna give it on a spreadsheet after I test it once or twice more. So it'll be a little bit more legible than what it is
Well, in the race night, it is specifically not the worst.
right now. Yes, ma'am, I agree.
It's when they rent it out.
And I know some people that rent the track, and I'm trying to work out some schedules so I can go when they're renting the track. And, that night, I took over 300 different readings from different places. I couldn't tell you who won the races because I was never again.
Well, and I appreciate you doing that, and all along, it has never been specifically the race night.
Right.
It's just in years past, it was just crammed down our throat 6 days a week. That's what's hard to swallow. But I have to say, it has been better.
Yeah, there's been less interest in renting the track as of late.
Well, thank you for doing that, I appreciate it, and if you stay on top of it, I'm not gonna question what you write down in your little notebook and on your spreadsheet.
We're trying.
But somebody is doing it, but officially, it should be done. I don't mean any disrespect, other than yourself. It should be done by someone completely independent. But I appreciate you doing it in the meantime.
I know Jerry tests it, which he owns the track, but he still does test it.
Well, my favorite thing to say there is the fox garden and hen house. So,
To be honest with
I've
you,
always said that, so,
he got higher ratings than I got.
well, and I'm, it's a wonderful thing. I mean, I've told you before, history at that track goes back in my family.
Mhm.
Right there in that area, when it was built 55 years ago. So,
Well, I'll
But
say
thank you.
this, the two people that own that track now have better intentions than others that have owned it. in the
oh,
past.
I agree,
That's the
but
way
better
I
intentions
see it.
than claim they owned it and just
Right.
managed it, but I agree with that. I wish sometime they personally lived closer. The one lives in Mount Juliet.
Yeah.
He's not bothered by the noise.
Because he lives at the racetrack.
Okay, well, but he sleeps good. Thank you anyway.
Yes, ma'am. Do you have anything else?
Yeah, that's it.
I don't have anything other than I appreciate the fire department, the police department, everybody else for what they did the other night, not only, on the fire, but we've had a rash of motorcycle accidents in the last little bit.
We,
Appreciate them for everything.
I think an officer got a motorcycle up by our house the other day. They've been rip snorting up there, boy,
Very possible.
thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.